Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. In continuation of previous video, we are going to discuss on default group policies. Most of the time, I have observed that in L1 and L2 or L3 level interviews, interviewer may ask what default group policies will be created while promoting a domain controller in a domain. Okay, so what group default by default group policies will be get created? So you can answer to the interviewer. First, default domain controller policy will be get created, and second one is default domain policy. These two group policies will get created by default when you promote a fresh domain controller. Okay, so first default domain, we'll discuss about default domain controller policy. A default domain controller policy is automatically created and linked to the domain where whenever a server is promoted to a domain controller. So in Active Directory we saw that there will be by default some organizational units, we called it OUs, will be get created. There will be one OU called domain controllers. On that particular OU, this group policy will be linked by default. Okay, this GPO represents the default policy that is applied to all domain controllers in the domain controller container. Container, it's a organizational unit only, OU only. But whatever domain controllers are added into that particular OU, this group policy will apply. Okay. Second, default domain policy. A default GPO that is automatically created and linked to the domain whenever a server is promoted to a domain controller. This is first time, means what, when you promote a domain controller as a domain, uh, that time this group policy will be created automatically. Okay, and it has the highest precedence of all GPOs linked to the domain. This group policy will have a highest precedence, okay, compared to other group policies, and it applies to all users and computers in the domain. This policy applies to all users irrespective of users location, OU, okay, group membership. This policy will get applied to users as well as computers in the domain. Okay, so let's jump to the server and we'll see what group policies and how we can verify those group policies. So here we have this server with us and we can verify that group policies by opening a GPMC console, MSC, gpmc.msc. This is a shortcut to open a group policy management console. See, this is a console I have opened with me, testlab.com. So here you can see, or you can just go to directly on group policy object. See, there are two group policies, default domain controller policy as well as default domain policies. These two group policies are there, and you can see that default domain policy is linked to domain on testlab.com. Here also you can see where it links, testlab.com. Okay, and what about default domain controller policy? This policy gets applied to domain controllers OU. This policy is applied to only, sorry, linked to only domain controllers OU. Okay, so always keep in mind whenever you have been asked or you will be asked by interviewer what default group policies will be get created into a domain. So you may answer this: default domain controller policy and default domain policies. These two group policies will be by default created. Thank you guys. Thank you for watching my video. Please like and subscribe for more videos.